Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. It is Mandy here, and I am coming at you with my April currently inked. So April, I'm really trying to reset and move back to as if I ever had this kind of thought process of really honing in on my pens and inks. However, I have two palettes this month. This palette is the one that is my, like, this is going to stay inked the whole month, and I am planning around it. And then I have this palette, which is coming up in a video. So some of my main favorite pens are in this already, ready to go for that. Because I am traveling this weekend, and I am going to the Sailor Moon Live in Minneapolis. I am really excited about it, but I wanted to have some like fun, bright colors for that one. And I really wanted to have different pens for traveling, trying to like pull back on my expensive pens and kind of leave them at home and not travel with them. But we'll see what happens because it is early in the week, so that may change. But I'm going to go through like my process of packing and how I do that, because I have kind of mastered, or not mastered, because things change all the time. I feel like I have more mastered how to travel. So that's coming later this week. This is my main one. And before I explain the theme, I just want to go through the pens, and then I will give you the little like story at the end. And in many ways, this was inspired by so many different things. Danielle over at my Dandelion Diaries does kind of like an ink story, but this is very much so more, I am really reflecting on my hobby and who I am and what it draws me and what I love, and just kind of really feeling that. So this is where this palette is coming in. I really did a lot of thinking and a lot of changing colors and inks and process. And I originally was going to go with a theme from Archer and Olive's monthly kind of deal. So Archer and Olive, if you aren't aware, has a kit subscription kit, or like a monthly subscription kit. So they have everything. Like, so I have, so what I do, they come in these like cute little like bags. So this is the kit. I'm going to take out all my extra stuff because I always throw extra stuff in there, and throw things that I think would be great. Oh, I did make this into a printable. The image that I did the other day with the rock and the canyon, or not the canyon, the falls. So I'm working on that, and I may be able to offer printables. I'm not going to do anything more than printables. I ran a business on Etsy for 7-8 years, and I just don't want to do it anymore. I do this for fun, and I like to share. I like to share and show people what I'm doing. And you know, there's not a lot of people in my life that get excited about it. There's a few, but not enough. And I want to share because I've learned so much. But this is what the kit is. And so I originally had this. This was very cherry blossom, very spring, very April, very happy. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love it, but I felt very boxed in, and I was not feeling inspired. I may use this in May because I love that it comes with all of this. Like, it takes a little bit of like the guesswork out for me. And then I had found these little stickers that were pink sakura, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry, but it was very much so cherry blossom. And I even have these like stickers here too that are very cherry blossom themed. So I do have this, and I love that the Archer and Olive comes with these little things that fit into my A5 binders. So I have these, and so I will keep this, and I love this. So I don't subscribe to the kit all the time. I will cancel my kit And then if I see one, then I will resubscribe for the month. So this one is one I was like, I have to have that, even if I don't use it right away. And I thought I would use it right away, and I was, but I just am feeling like re-finding myself. So I wanted to explain that before we get into these, because this is very different from what I ended up doing. So we are going to go into it, and I am going to get my pens. I have them all in order here, and I will go ahead and get started. Okay, so for my first ink, I have my Jinhao 10, and Amazon is calling this one Gradient Dark Blue, but it does have some really pretty orange up here in the top, and this is with the silver. I got the one with black too and gave it to a friend. So this has Kobe, is it 28? Yes, Kobe 28. And that one is the Suzerain, or Suzerain, either way, Suzerain, and that's green. And it's really pretty. I discovered the other day that Kobe inks have a story behind all of their inks. Yoseka on YouTube here has a nice little video about the Kobe inks, and when they started, it was because way back when, and this has obviously changed since we have gotten really into fountain pens as a group of people, and I think it's continuing to trend up. And he wanted, the guy who created them for the Nagasawa company, he wanted to have inks to write letters to people, but not just red, black, or blue, like basic colors. So he developed them, and now they have something like, I think it's like 85 different inks, and then they work with the different people. So I didn't know all of that. I just loved the Kobe inks because they've got such pretty colors. But now, like, knowing that they're like even more so have this like beautiful story behind them, I just love them. I have been kind of obsessed, and I recently made a purchase of some new inks from them, and I plan on getting more. Like, they just work so well, especially in these pens. These pens sometimes, I mean, they have been really good for me, especially since doing that hack. I keep forgetting her name. I think it's Vanessa, but I will try to find the video. But she talked about doing silicone right in here, and I have been directing people to her video because I think it's great. But I haven't had any problems with them drying out since then, and I am really enjoying these pens. So I think I have 6 or 7 now, and I'm not gonna like jump and get more for myself, but I have been, when I notice that they're about like $10, I have been grabbing more so I can give them to people, because I think they're a really great giftable pen. And then, you know, getting like a diamine bottled ink for like their first ink pen, because having that click is so nice. So I've been trying to convert my friends very slowly, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So this is the Jinhao 10 in Gradient Dark Blue. And I did purchase this one from Amazon, and they are more expensive on Amazon. They're about $20 on Amazon, but you get them. I got this like shipping in a day, so I got this faster. But it is a lovely dark blue ink. It almost looks black, even like when I'm looking at the camera it looks black, but it is this lovely dark blue that reminds me, or dark green that reminds me of deep dark moss, or like this color that I have in a colored pencil that I just love for art. And so I did that one for that pen. And then my next pen is my Esterbrook Estie in Once in a Blue Moon. And this ink is Midnight Sapphire by Robert Oster. And I have I think I have a fine nib in this right now. Yes, I have a fine nib. I switch out my Esterbrook nibs, and so sometimes I'm like, which one do I have in this pen? And which one do I have in this pen? So yeah, I don't even know. I wonder if I even have my Jurassic right now inked. But I love my Esterbrook pens so much. They make me really happy. So I am just loving this color. This was one that I forgot about. Like, now that I'm kind of going through my inks and cataloging them, I'm remembering these inks that I really liked when I first was getting swatches or getting samples and things. I love to play with color, so it's really, really hard for me to slow down. And I am really trying to slow down. Like, I'm not doing a no buy. I'm not doing a budget. I'm not doing the things. Like, I already had a budget, but I'm not like being like, nope, you can't have this many inks and you can't do this. I'm just trying to organize what I have to make sure that I'm not buying double of things. Because what happened when I was getting, like, I have Caran d'Ache Neo colors, and I didn't take inventory, and then I would buy the Neo colors that I wanted, and I was like, oh, now you have 3 of the same Neo color, which is fine for Neo colors because I use them and they run out so fast. But I get into that scarcity habit because I grew up where we get something, and it's definitely a mental thing, but we get something in my home and then it would be gone, or like we wouldn't have the money to get it again. So I would hoard things. And so I'm trying to work through that with not just everything, but I'm trying to work through that with my pens, my inks, my just everything in my life. And so it's been hard to be like, okay, you can use this nice pen, you can use this nice thing, because you can replace it. And then what really gets me is the like special edition stuff. And so I'm trying not to get into the mindset of you need 500 of these because it is special edition. And so I ran into that. Like, was anybody else into the LuLaRoe trend? Oh my goodness, the amount of LuLaRoe I had because I was like, this is my unicorn. Oh my goodness, I'm shaking my head at myself even now. I think I have 4. I have 4 Jinhao 10s in this. So this is my Jinhao 10 Gradient Gray, and this one is Spot On Earl Grey by Diamide. And so Gradient Gray, Earl Grey made me happy, and so I am remembering how much I loved Earl Grey. Like, I was like, you know, you haven't had Earl Grey in a pen for months, and I don't remember when the last time I was. That I'm like, that's why I'm loving that I'm tracking this stuff now, because then I can be like, oh, that's how long ago. Earl Grey was like my very first like fountain pen ink love. Like, I adore this ink so much, and it was for a very long time, it was always inked. It's such a legible color, but the way that it dries and the chromatography of it is so fascinating because it breaks out and it's got this beautiful blue that tones in it, and there's this orange. And I love Earl Grey tea, and I love this ink so much so that I created a character because of this ink. So I have a character, his name is Earl Grey, and I like started researching Earl Grey and where like Earl Grey tea, the actual like tea came from. And it came from this Earl named Earl Grey, and I can't remember all the details. I have them written down in one of my journals that I was doing for this character, but it's because like the tea, they wanted something fancy, so that bergamot oil, which is the bergamot oil is, you know, the orange. And so it's just really fun to read about that, because I love London fogs. And I don't know if it's the correct way of having the tea, but a London fog latte, at least here, and I don't know if this is for, you know, actual Britain. I should look that up and put that in my commonplace as well. The London fog is, at least here, it's the Earl Grey tea with lavender, and then it's a latte. So it's, you can either have it, I have a place where I can get it where it's iced or hot, and it depends on the time of the year. But there's something, I don't normally love lavender. Ooh, whoops. I don't normally love lavender flavored things, but for some reason I love a London fog. And so I've been really feeling that too. And so I have this character. His name is Earl Grey, and he is this snooty, what is it? He's a snooty alpaca or a llama. I have to remember and look, but he's got a long neck, and he's just cute. And this is my gradient gray. And so every time I see this ink, I think of him, and I just love it. So I just, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, you love this. Why don't you put it back in a pen? And I'm already like, ooh, I've already written in my journal with it. I have was like, ooh, do I need to have this in 3 pens? I used to have this in like 4 or 5 pens at the same time. It was really bad. But yeah, so I'm excited about trying this in my Jinhao 10, because this is one that I can put in my bag to take with me when I'm, you know, journaling at cafes and things. And with April being here and me only working part-time now, I can do more of that. And this says currently. I got so focused on the letters that I missed the T. Oops, that happens. Okay, I had to share Earl Grey because he just makes me so happy. So this is Earl Grey, and he is I think did I make him a coffee shop owner? Yes, and I imagine Earl Grey giving monologues to every customer while they wait for their drip made coffee or espresso. So he's very much so posh and very like, I don't know what's the word, like just uppity, and he's also just, he loves people. So I based like the look, he's tall and lanky, and then you can see him kind of here with all the other characters of this world that I created. These are all the characters. I don't know if this is ever going to be anything. It might just be this because I love it, and it's fun, and it's in my own little head. But he is tall and lanky, and I based his outfit on an actual painting from Earl Grey, so I pulled that out for an inspiration. So yeah, and this is all of the characters of this little town called Hollow Vale, and he makes me happy. He just makes me so happy. I love him so much. I draw him a lot in at least this year. This was back in 2023. This was my Archer and Olive back in 2023, and I think this was Shinkai. This was when I was really starting to get into journaling. This is my like first journal. I never finished this one, but yeah, that's just a little background. I never finished it. I think I'm about halfway through. This is a B5, and I have a really hard time with B5. It's an Archer and Olive, but it's nice to look back on and see, oh yeah, this is when you were really starting to get into fountain pens and get into journaling and everything. So it was 2 years ago now. Yeah, almost 2 years ago. Well, a year and a half ago when I really got into it. So yeah, my next pen, I am still trying to love this pen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think that this ink in this pen is working so much better, and I'm excited to update and start a pip sheet for this, which is Wildly Imaginable Grace. Has these pip sheets, and I just got one, so you can see that video if you're interested. But I have Wearingeul's Jane Eyre in here, and I have been playing with Jane Eyre and experimenting with Jane Eyre in a bunch of different different ways, like using glitter potions and mixing it with things. And I just was like, you know, always have flow issues with Jane Eyre and my TWSBIs, but I don't think I have ever put Jane Eyre in any other pen than a TWSBI. And I was looking at this pen and I was trying to decide if it was one that I wanted to keep, that I wanted to like let go. It is my most expensive pen. It is my Platinum 3776 in Komodo. It's like the Sands of Komodo, which is a special edition. I got it on sale, but it was an investment, and when I got it, I put in a couple inks and was just, Rika worked really well in it. Pilot Your Shizuku Rika did, and I really liked it, but I was like, am I only gonna ever be able to have blue inks in it? And so I was just kind of like, but I put this in it, and honestly, like, I love Jane Eyre, this ink. I love the Jane Eyre book. And so I was like, okay, let's try it. Let's just try this ink in another pen. And holy smokes, like, people will tell you that pens and ink pairings, they do matter. And I am really starting to see that, because I don't think that even my TWSBIs were letting this ink flow as good as this pen is. And it is writing. I don't know if you saw how much the ink was pooling. It is writing so beautifully. And in my Leuchtturm, it's got this beautiful halo effect of the dark purple and the grayer purples in the middle. And it's kind of doing that here. I hope that it will show on camera, but it never really did that in my TWSBIs. And I would see other people's writing, and I love this ink even in my TWSBI, but I think I was doing the ink a disservice. And this one is a medium nib. It was the only one they had left. I looked at this pen for over a year, like, not even kidding. Looked at it for over a year, and really just, it is rose gold, and it's got this transparent body, and I looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, and I love the name because of my son and his obsession with Komodos and Komodo Island. And like, we look up books about Komodo dragons, we're Komodo dragons all the time. So it was really about my son, and this is a very special pen. So I was really bummed, because I was like, maybe do I sell it? And I think if I have the right ink, like this one, even though it's not like matchy, it's working, and I want to write with it. So I'm really excited about actually getting to write with this, because yeah, just, I'm very sentimental when it comes to things like that. And so I was so excited to have that pen. And yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but anywho, that is that pen. And this next pen is an Asvine V126. And this color will work with both this palette and my other palette, because it's more bright. But this is Wearingeul, which I do have. I think I have like 4 or 5, maybe 6 Wearingeuls. I know I have at least 4 Wearingeuls this month. But this one is Wearingeul's Frankenstein, and this one is a shimmer. I think I have 3 or 4 shimmers. Not too many for shimmers this month. I did have Jane Eyre as a shimmer in a different pen, because I had it with the Heart Potion, but I just love Jane Eyre. I just love it. Love that ink, and I love what it's doing in that platinum. But this is a fine nib, and my Asvines, however you say this, the Asvines are doing fantastic with my shimmer inks, which is, I didn't know. I've never put a shimmer in them, so I'm excited about that. Or maybe I did put a shimmer in and just wasn't the right shimmer. I know I put a Robert Oster shimmer, and those struggle with most pens. I still have to find one that they don't super struggle with, and I think they don't with my Benus. But they have really, I think their shimmers have just bigger particles, and so where it is harder for most pens. So yeah, I am really enjoying this ink. It's been a while since I've used Frankenstein, but I have been in such a purple mood, and I was like, oh, you know, you do have purple inks. You don't need to just go out and buy a new ink every time. Can you look through your collection and see if there's something there? And that is exactly what I did with this one. And it's a purple with this lovely greenish shimmer, but it's like a bright green shimmer. And so it really, really reminds me of the way that you would look at Frankenstein's monster in like the media. And Frankenstein remains to be one of my favorite books. I love looking at it in the light of looking at humanity and love and how a monster can become, how even a creature created can be a monster if they don't experience love. And I think that there's been a lot of books where you've seen the flip, like where a monster does get love and isn't, you know, running around killing people. But it's like one of those things where, especially with all the different kinds of technologies that are coming out, it's a conversation that could be had. And I just love Frankenstein. So when I saw that they had a Frankenstein ink, that's kind of how it is with the Wearingeul inks. I'm like, oh, it's purple. It's all about Frankenstein. It is beautiful. Okay, I have to have it, because purple is one of my favorite colors, especially this like shade of purple that's more blue leaning. And this one definitely leans a little bit more blue, but there is a deep red pink in there too. So I just love it. A lot of these inks, there are a few inks that are newer to me, and I am loving them as well. But some of these inks I've had for a long time, and I just kind of have set them aside. And I'm like, you know what? You have full bottles of these. Like, I have a full bottle of this. So the only one so far that I've inked that I don't have a full bottle of is the Kobe. And I love this ink, but I don't think I am going to get a full bottle of the 28. It is fun to use, but I don't foresee myself needing a full bottle, which is kind of a nice thing to realize. And that may change as I use it. But right now, I still have plenty of my sample from Van Ness, so I will just stick with that. But Frankenstein, I did get a sample, and immediately when I got the sample, I was like, yeah, no, you just needed to get a full bottle. And I should have known myself on this one. And this is the Asvine V126. And I have not been putting what the nib is. So this is a fine, and this is the Frosted Transparent. And I'm really liking my V126s. I have quite a few of them inked up in my travel companion, because flying on a plane, they have that vac filler, and I'm getting better at vac fillers, so I really like that, because then they won't leak, and it's nice. But yeah, Frankenstein, ooh, it's so much fun. Love that purple. Love, love, love that purple. Okay, and my next pen is my Jinhao 10 Gradient Coffee with my Pilot Broad nib. So this is the 18 karat Pilot Broad nib that I got on Amazon, and I put it in here, and I am just loving this. And this has Kobe's milk chocolate in it. And I am really enjoying milk chocolate. I think I had, what did I have in here before? I think I had Cafe Crema in it. So something coffee-ish, but this is still a brown. But I'm really enjoying this. I had the coffee, or not the coffee, the milk chocolate in a different pen before this one. And I liked it just fine. It was a fine nib though, an extra fine. And I was just like, you know, I think I want to see some more of that shading, because this has lovely, lovely shading in this milk chocolate. I did have strawberry chocolate also inked up for a while when I first got them, but I have since removed it from inking just because it wasn't feeling right for what I'm doing. So I'm gonna save that one probably for next month. I don't even think I have any like full-on pinks right now, or just like even dusty pinks. I've been in such a pink mood that I'm trying to let like some of my other colors shine, like purples and teals and blues, and so yeah, I put it away for right now, and I have to remind myself that you can have other inks and not just the same one over and over, which is pink. You don't have to have pink every single month, but it's fun. It's fun to have pink every single month, but yeah, I don't need to. Also, I'm really enjoying doing doodles for swatches. I kind of decided like, oh yeah, this is kind of what I want to do this month, is kind of really hone into, and this, because this is me, really hone into my doodles. And I think I did a little bit last month, but I thought about the doodles. I wanted to make sure that you could really see the ink swatch and the colors in the ink, and that I had to color them in. So if you've noticed, that's a little different than what I've done. This is a little different. This is all a little different. It's something that it's ever changing with this, right? This is my creative outlet right now. And so I am really, really kind of leaning into having it be different. And the thing that's bugging me right now though is because some of my drawings go a little lower, I have to like not be on the same line, which is fine. This is the bottom of the page, and so I can remove those. And I did go back before this little clip right here. I did go back and add in my nibs. So this one, it says fine, but I messed up. So a lot of extra fines and fines here. This one's a medium, but Platinum has small nibs because it's a Japanese nib, so it's a little bit smaller than the other ones. But yeah, that's my Jinhao 10 gradient coffee with Kobe Mac chocolate. Mac chocolate? No, not Mac chocolate. Milk chocolate. So pretty. I love it. It's like it is almost a pinky brown, but it's not pink. It's brown. It's very, very milky and chocolatey, and it makes me really want to eat some treats, but that's that. The next one I have here is my Myers Penco Alpha Petite, and this is in Kraken's Midnight Tide blank. I am still obsessed with this pen, like so obsessed. I have used it every single day. I've done so much with it, but this nib is from Heinz Penco, and it is an extra fine Yovo 6 nib, but they plate theirs. You can get them, you can order them plated. So I ordered this one and a pink one and a chocolate brown one because I wanted some colorful nibs. I am all about color, and this, so funny enough, as I'm documenting all my ink, I found an ink from Birmingham Pen Co. called Kraken's Wake, and this pen is called Kraken's Midnight Tide because they, on their Facebook group, have been doing, for like March, they were doing competitions between the sons and the father for blanks for different mythological creatures or gods. And so one of the weeks it was Thunder or Olympus or something like that, but then there was one that was Kraken's Midnight Tide. So there's 3 different blanks that they came up with, and this one actually wasn't the winning blank, which shocks me. Like, it looks to me like, if you look at it from here to here, it looks, and I know that's what they planned, as if you are going into the water, into the depths of the water. So you have that really light, and it even has, like, it had this white on the top, but they chose to, and I love the way that they chose to do this for the pen itself, with the blank, because they used one blank. It goes transparent, and it's got all of this beautiful sparkle that is like this really pretty bluish purple, and the sparkle is actually really close to Kraken's Wake by Birmingham Pen Co. Now, I have a few inks from Birmingham Pen Co. because I've bought a few here and there throughout the last few years. And they're ones that I was like meh on. And again, I think it's just a matter of like you go through seasons, and sometimes the season that you're in, you're not into the things that you get into later. And I just need to like get past this black and white thinking. And so unfortunately, I have borderline personality disorder. I don't know if I've talked about that one. I've talked about ADHD a lot, but I have borderline personality disorder, which makes everything really hard. And I've had it forever, but I got diagnosed. I got diagnosed with BPD before I got diagnosed with ADHD. ADHD is more of a newer one because I was realizing that even though I'm doing all my treatments for borderline, I was still having issues with like different concentrations and things. And so my therapist and I talked about it, but one of the things that borderline personality disorder has is called, it's like splitting and black and white thinking. So it's like this all or nothing mentality. Like you can't have nuances. My brain has a really hard time processing nuances. So like it's either I'm all in or I'm all out. And that's with everything. So it's like if I have a friendship, I go all in. And I was realizing, at least for myself, that I had so many friends that I was giving my all to. And then we were looking at it and it's like, well, who's in this outer circle? I'm like, well, no one, because everybody's like my best friend. And it's very much so all or nothing. So when like my whole point with that is that I found a color. I can't even remember what it was. I found a color that I didn't like, a Birmingham Pencoes. And then it was like, well, I don't like any of them because they're all the same. And I shake my head now at myself because my goodness, I should have seen. But it's one of those things that hindsight is 2020, and recognizing the things in yourself that you didn't recognize before, like getting diagnoses for different mental illnesses, it really helps. Like recognizing, oh, you know, like, no, you can have like, I kind of like this, but I don't like this, instead of I hate this or I love them. And like, so I'm learning that even with pens. So this is Birmingham Penco BPC Kraken's Wake, and I love this color so much. I've already had to refill this converter last night because I've been using it so much in the last day. And I did a whole spread in my journal right here. I actually have my journal right here. So I did a whole spread with Kraken's Wake. And maybe I can zoom out and show you. I'm got that right there, Kraken. So there we go. I did a whole spread. I went and found Lord Tennyson's poem, and I did some research. I could do some more research on Krakens, and I found some like really cool abstract waves of the ocean, and did this, and I threw some splotches of the actual ink and did the like paper bag to make it look really like he's coming out of the ocean. But yeah, so I did that. So I shared in another video this part, but I hadn't drawn everything in. So this is the full spread in my journal. Like I just, very creative, very fun. I'm having a lot of fun creating and doing more creative things in my journals. So yeah, that's where some of this is coming from, is that I'm really trying to be creative in my journals and using the things that I have really worked hard to develop, like especially like my art. Like I've worked really hard to develop my art skills through the years, and why not use them? So this is Myers Penco, and that is the Alpha Petite. I'm just going to put Alpha P because he has the Alpha and the Alpha Petite. I want it a little bit smaller because I have the Mia Petite. And I wanted it a little bit smaller than the Alpha, but I liked the shape of this pen. And I'm very excited because later this week I will be receiving my pen that I designed, and he even like customized the body of it. So this whole thing is my pen, and it's just exciting because he's offering a few of them. And so some of my viewers, if you really like these pens, when I get them, you can get $10 off of them, and I am so excited. I didn't expect to be like working with a brand right away, and he's a small bespoke brand, but I didn't expect to be partnering with anyone at any point anytime soon. But I was like, hey, I drew this picture of a pen that I would love to have. Is this something that you could do? And he was like, yes. And then he said, hey, can I take this? And since you designed it, can I take this and, you know, offer it as a retail? And I'm like, yes. And so we talked about it, and it was just like, it was like this like kismet thing that just all came together really fast. And so I'm excited to be sharing it because it's really cool, really cool. Okay, so my next ink is in this Jinhao 10, which is my absolute favorite Jinhao 10. I am so sad for everyone who can't get them. I got this and then it just disappeared. It disappeared from Amazon, and AliExpress has none. And I hope that they restock it for you all because it's lovely. They do have it on AliExpress. I haven't seen it on Amazon, but they do have it in the pearl pink with silver. And I did order one of those for a friend. And so I'm excited to see what that looks like. And I will pull it out of the package just to show people when it gets here, just so you can see. But I love this pen. And this is inked up with Kobe's, let me double check. Kobe 39, which is brick. And so I really thought that this would be cute to do a little haunted house for this Kobe brick. And I have been just, like I mentioned, I have been just into Kobe inks. And this one was one that I was like, oh, that's really pretty. I have discovered myself in the last year, and last couple years at least, that I really like reddish browns, ochre browns. Like I just, any kind of like earthy, dark, deep clay tones, that is my jam. And so this one is very much so in that category. It is a brown brick red color, but it also just has this really pretty depth. It's really similar to ochre, like diamine ochre, which is one of my favorite inks, but it's also more red. And I haven't compared it to ancient copper, but I imagine it's pretty darn close. But this, again, I think it just has something different. Like I feel like this one is more deep burgundy red compared to the ancient copper, which is more orange. And so I have been digging this color way too much over the past like week that I've had it in this pen. But I was like, oh, I again was not feeling pink. I think I pinked myself out over the last couple months. I had so much pink. I think I looked and I think I had like 6 pens with 6 different pinks last month. And that is fine because I love pink, but I just was like, I want something different this month. And I did have, so I don't have as many browns either. I had like 6 or 7, like very close to diamine ochre browns. So I didn't do that either this month, which I'm really proud of myself for, because my goodness, I did not need that many of the same ink inked up. And that's one of the things like where I'm taking stock of, do I need to have the same 5 inks inked up in 6 different pens, or like similar inks? Like I love them both and I want to use them both, and there are differences, but do I need to? So like while I'm not like budgeting and being like, oh man, I can't buy a pen, or I have too many pens in my collection, I am still a dragon hoarding everything. But I also like if I don't use what I have, then it sits there, right? And it could be, and I'm trying to find like a happy medium where I'm happy with what I'm using, but also like it's getting used. And so I love these colors and I love the difference in them. And what's nice is what I realized is just because I'm doing a currently inked like for April, who's to say that I can't like JP Pen and Ink, I think is her name. Like Jane, is it Jane? I don't remember what her name is, but she did where she last month had 6 pens inked and then did that 6 different pens a week. And I was like, oh, that would be really cool. The only thing is like when I'm doing spreads, I like to have at least, for me, I like to have like 4 or 5 different colors a day so I can color things in, because I'm very much so like I like to color with my pens. And so it's just trying to figure out like what's my happy medium. So I have 13 pens right now for this palette, and then I have I think 10 for my other palette, but that is one that is going, that's like I didn't fill them fully with ink, and that's just my travel. So that again, and I've mentioned that, but and this one is called Pink Gold. Everywhere I've seen it's called Pink Gold. So there's, or Pearl Pink Gold. And I'm going to say Pearl. And I do have the Pearl White. I don't have the Pearl White inked up, but I do have the Pearl White. And the Pearl White is lovely. And they do have a Pearl White Gold that's available too. I just don't know if the gold is going to be this rose gold, because on the picture it looked gold. And so when I got the rose gold, I was like, are you kidding me? I love rose gold. So that's just a me thing. Just a me thing, I think. But yeah. Okay, so I'll move this over. And my next one is my other Myers Pen Co. This is my Mia Petite. And this is, I just need to double check what I have on here for a nib, because I've been swapping the nibs trying to figure out which nib works really well. I had my Leonardo Medium on here last month. And this month I have my Broad Estie. Okay. And this ink, this is my Dracula ink. And so I decided, why not draw a little Marceline from Adventure Time. Yeah. And it is a red, but it's a red that I actually like. And I need to stop doing the mwahaha, but you know, it's fun. So, and a little Marceline action. Anybody else watch Adventure Time? I got into it way late, like a couple of years ago, rather than when it was on TV, and I'm really bummed. I mean, I know Fiona and Cake are on now, but I really like Adventure Time, and I wish I would have been able to see it when it was like super on, but yeah, I love it. So it's one of those that I put on and my kids love it too. And a lot of my art studies have been from the Adventure Time art book that I had to return back to my library for the like 4th or 5th time. I just wish I could find it for less than $400. But I got to have Matt Forsyth, who was an art director on that show. He actually like shared a studio with my art teacher of the class, Beatrice Blue. She did a children's illustration class like a year ago, or yeah, was it last year? Yeah, last year this time. And I got to have Matt Forsyth, who was a creative director on Adventure Time, come and teach us about his art process. So I got to meet him, which was really cool, and ask him a couple questions, and learned a lot in that class about picture design, or picture, just all the things of picture. And I'm going to say Myers PC, and this is the Mia Petite, and I'm going to put Mia P, Mia Petite, and this is a broad, because this is a broad, juicy writer right now. That's a broad Yeovil Estie nib. And what was this? This is the strawberry daiquiri. So I'm just going to put straw, DAQ, blank. So that's the strawberry daiquiri blank. This was my first pen from them, and I fell in love. It's so comfortable, but it is a little long. Like Mia Petite is long, but this one, the Alpha does not post. This one does post. So it posts, but then it's really long when it posts, and I don't post my pens. But if that's something that like is important, then posting a pen. But yes, look at that. Look at that Dracula. I haven't used Dracula forever, and I was like, what? So Dracula has this red and then this like purple shimmer, and I thought that looked really, really perfect for this, because this has this like really pretty shimmer and purpley in there. So yeah, love that pen. Love me that pen. Okay. The next one is my Leonardo Memento Zero in the Winter Sunrise. The Endless Pens and Karina Loves to Plan exclusive that they did just a couple months ago. And I have absolutely just loved this pen. It is one that I pretty much use daily. I think I had 2 different inks in it last month. And now I have a different one. And I don't foresee myself not having this in my lineup, especially with this extra fine nib. I actually, mid-month last month, when I got this ink, because I got this as a sample, and ended up loving it so very much, and used up the ink sample really, really fast because I was using it so much, that I bought the bottle. And this is Tasha's AB. I tried to look it up. It because it means shrimp, but it does not look like shrimp to me. It is such a beautiful maroon purple that is just, there is something about it, and I am obsessed with it. And I have used it pretty much every day, and I had it in my Myers Mia Petite with my Leonardo medium nib. But I was like, you know what? I really want to try it in an extra fine. And I thought that Dracula looked better, because I was going to do this opposite, but I thought Dracula looked better. I thought this looked a little bit better with this. It doesn't match. It's the first time I've not matched an ink with this one, because I had strawberry chocolate in this one before, because I switched it out through the month when I used it up. But I am loving this so far. I really love this color. It, yeah, this one's probably going to be used a lot again this month. And so, yeah, I have a full bottle now of this because I was so obsessed. And this is an extra fine, and this is Winter Sunrise. I was calling it Winter Sunset because I knew it was the like morning, but I get the days, the sunrise and sunset mixed up. I don't know why. I just do. It's just who I am, who I am. Okay, so my next pen is my one and only TWSBI in my lineup for this month, which shocks me when I have so many TWSBIs normally. But I have been trying to branch out of my TWSBIs because I know how they work. They work fantastic, and I love them, and they are some of my favorite pens. But I said if I'm going to use one TWSBI, I am going to use my absolute favorite one, which is my Rose Gold Smoke. And I am really glad that I chose this one because I can already tell that I'm going to love it for the month of April. And this I have, if you can't tell just by what I'm drawing, I have Writer's Blood in it by Diamine. And I did a little research, or not research, but I did a little swatch search of my inks because I absolutely was loving the Pilot Sepia cartridge. I still am, but I was like, gosh, it leans more red than it does sepia and brown. So I did a search. Let me pull it up here quick. So I had it in one of my sailors, and because I had, syringed it, so I took a little bit of it and I swatched it out to look. And Diamine Writer's Blood is very, very, very similar. I didn't realize it because this is Writer's Blood and this is the sepia cartridge. This one has a little bit more dark depth, but this one is like, if I can get it close, if I can get it to, my camera really does not want to, but you can see I did do Oxblood too, but Oxblood was too brown, which is weird because Oxblood is more brown than sepia cartridge. And the cartridge has a picture that's brown. So just found that interesting. So I just was like, oh, okay, well. So I decided that I was going to ink up a pen with Writer's Blood because I wanted it a little bit wetter because I was using my Jinhao 10 with my sepia cartridge, but I was using up a cartridge, like I used up a cartridge in 4 days or 3 days, something like that, something ridiculous. And I was like, okay, I need to find a different option because that's going to get expensive fast if I keep going. So because I really like this color family in a broad nib. So I was really excited to see that. I wish, because it is a little bit different, I do wish that Pilot would release that cartridge in a full bottle. But since they don't, I am going to do this. So this is my TWSBI Diamond 580. And this is my broad nib. I've been really in the mood for some more broad nibs. I haven't had them in my whole layout for a while. I've been doing a lot of mediums, but I just was like, I really want a thick, wet, juicy writer that I can color with. And so there it is. And this one just is so wet and juicy, and I love it. So there's that. And this is my Smoke Rose Gold. So I think also, which is really funny, what I do with my rose gold ones, because I love the rose gold so much, I usually say rose gold smoke or this. And like, I think the way that TWSBI actually has it written is that it's the color name first and then that, like Cafe Bronze and Espresso Bronze. But I was doing for the rose gold ones, I was like, rose gold cream sounds good, and rose gold white, and rose gold smoke. Just thought it sounded better. I am using my Bennu Talisman. I'm very excited in the Bennu Talisman in Cat's Eye. And I have, do I have a fine nib on this one right now? Yes, I have a fine nib. And this one, I have not used this ink in a while, and I was like, I swatched it for some reason the other day to look at my greens because I was trying to figure out what greens I had, and I was like, oh, I miss this ink. This is Wearingeul's Call of Cthulhu, which is a Gold Spot exclusive, and I am such a fan of, there is a board game called Arkham Horror that I absolutely love that is based on Lovecraft, and I had to have this ink because I really love Cthulhu and Lovecraft. And I have read up on the lore, but I haven't actually read any of Lovecraft's stories yet, but it is my mission to read them this year. So, but I love horror, and I've read a lot of like inspired by Cthulhu and inspired by Lovecraft. And so I love Chibi Thulu. So, yeah, Wearingeul's Call of Cthulhu is this beautiful, deep teal green, very similar, but not as green as like Robert Oster's River of Fire, but it's got this beautiful red sheen in some places, but it's not like an overpowering sheen. It's just a small sheen, but this is a color that you couldn't buy a sample. You only could buy a bottle. And I don't even know if it's in stock anymore at Gold Spot. I hope so, because it's beautiful. If not, they need to restock it again, because you just need to always have this in Gold Spot. Yeah. And I say this as if the people from the pen companies are watching, and maybe they are. And if you are, like, seriously, Gold Spot, you knew what you were doing. But Sailor had a pen to go with this, and it was like $400. And I was like, no, Mandy, you cannot have that pen. You cannot, just because you love Cthulhu. Because I'd never used a Sailor pen before. And I'm glad that I didn't get the pen, because I'm really not sure I love the feedback in my Sailors. And maybe I just haven't found the right ink, but I have 2 Pro Gear Slims. I have a Slim regular and a Slim Mini, and then I found a 1911S they all have the 14 karat gold nibs, but I have the two Slims are with a medium fine, so I thought maybe we'll try a broad nib. And the broad writes really smooth, but it still has that feedback in a weird way. And it feels like it literally feels like, to me at least, writing with those flare pens. And I know that most teachers love them, but I just do not like the flare felt pens. I just don't. And so it gives me that ick feeling. So I think that's one that I'm just gonna have to let go. But I got it for $50, and so I was really excited to pick that up. And I am finding that for the most part, except for a few instances, like my Jinhao 10, like my broad pilot, I prefer steel nibs. I like that stiffness. I don't like when they flex, unless I'm doing, and this word, I still don't know if I spelt it right here. It is hard to spell, but I'm pretty sure it's Cthulhu. But I could have spelt it wrong. I'm sorry if I did, for any Lovecraft fans who are watching this. Yeah, but you can see where this is inking up and sheening. I love it. And this is my Bennu Talisman. And I just love it. Yeah. So far, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is 5, because I've got one more, and I know that it is a Wearingeul. So this is the Wearingeul month. I think some of the most owned ink I have is Wearingeul, because I love the literature connections with it. And this is Cat's Eye. And I'm so excited to be using this. I think this is going to get me to use my Talisman more. I keep looking at, gosh, what is the one? The Edelweiss Talisman, because it's so pretty, but I don't need another Bennu. I don't. I just got 2 more. I got the Pixies, and I haven't done, like, I didn't do an unboxing for them, and I haven't done a review yet, because I was watching Hi Julia here last week, and she was like, I like to try the pens before I do an unboxing, and sometimes I think I'd like to, and that was kind of how I felt with the Pixies. I wasn't sure that I wanted my initial reactions on camera, because one is a pocket pen, so I don't use pocket pens all that often, and so I just wanted to try it out, and I'm still not sure about it. It's got the Schmidt nib, which is like one of my absolute favorites. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite, but it is one of my absolute favorites. But the size is great too, because like I love this one. I didn't expect to love this briolette as much as I did, because I didn't buy it for a long time, and this briolette is absolutely one of the most comfortable pens I have. I'm finding that I like the thickness here in my grip, but I like a thinner grip right here. So I'm finding things that I'm about myself, like, because it's just the way that my hands are more comfortable. I have very, very small hands. It's quite amusing when you look at it. But I have very small hands, so it's sometimes like some of the smaller pens work really well for me, but it just depends on how I'm holding the pen, because sometimes I'll hold it back here so I can get like a little bit more when I'm coloring in stuff. It just depends. But if you haven't figured out what this ink is, or you haven't seen this ink before, it is Wearingeul's Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe. And how lovely is this ink? I love this ink. It is a dark, almost black purple. So it's darker than Persephone, with this beautiful like purpley silver shimmer. And yeah, this one was a exclusive to Endless, and I don't know if they are restocking this one, but I just love this ink, and I forgot how much I love this ink. And as I was going through my inks to decide what I wanted for this palette, I was like, oh, yeah, you have to have that. And this is my Benu Briolette, and this is a broad, which is surprising. Like, see, again, it's surprising that I'm using a broad, especially in a Benu, because they're so wet. And this is a broad, and this is Mauve Frost or Magenta Frost. I don't know, I just love this pen. So I thought this looked okay. You know, I wasn't trying for matching this month. So these are my 13 pens, and I'm going to go in and describe the story of why I chose them and what I chose them for. And maybe looking at this, maybe it's all coming together for you. Maybe you're not as geeky or nerdy as me, but this is my ink palette for the month of April. And it is very fitting for me that the outdoors right now here are rainy and the skies are completely gray and murky, and it is very atmospheric. And so I went with, what do you love the most, Mandy, when it comes to books, when it comes to life, when it comes to everything? And it is the Gothic novel, which is why there are so many Wearingeul inks, because there might have been one or two that I didn't include, and I'm like, oh man, I should have included this. I should have done this. I wanted not just the aesthetic, but I wanted to really let the inks that have been inspired by these books shine. And so when I was looking at colors, I was thinking the moss and the moors and the darkness and midnight and all of the tropes. But like, I also thought about the fact that British literature is really where Gothic novels got their start, with the Castle of Otranto back in the early 1700s by Horace Walpole. I thought, okay, I need to just have a nod to Britain, which is this one. I also looked at, what was it that I looked at? I looked at something else for here, but I was like, no, it's got to be Earl Grey tea, because I looked at like a coffee, and I was like, no, it's got to be Earl Grey tea. That is for like the London-y kind of thing. And then, of course, how could I not have Jane Eyre? How could I not? I had to. Jane Eyre is one of the like most well-known and well-loved Gothic novels, and it is one of my favorite books of all time, along with Frankenstein. Like, these two set a lot of the atmosphere and continued it going. I mean, Jane Eyre has also inspired so much that way, of like, even Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier was a retelling of Jane Eyre, but it's a love of Gothics, and you have your twisty trees and like the creepiness and the atmosphere. So I was like, I need A. Brown to describe that darkness, but also milk chocolate. So I wanted some sweetness for myself. And then of course, Kraken's Wake, like there is something dark and mysterious in the waters, and you can have Gothic novels in waters, and Krakens are a myth and a lore and a lot of something that people take into Gothic novels. And Kobe 39 with the brick represents setting is so important, like houses, like there's like if you do not have a creepy house in a Gothic novel, that the house that almost has a character itself, do you really have a Gothic novel? And Dracula, I mean, need I say more? Dracula, so good. Gothic novel, so fantastic. If you haven't read it, go read it. And then this one was Natasha Abe. I went with the wine to like really think about like the drinks, because could it be poison? There's so many symbolic things about wine and blood, and I stuck with that for that. And then writer's blood, obviously writer's blood, not obviously, but for me, obviously I had to have it, because not only do I love this color, but blood and writers and this deepness, it really fit well. And then we've got more of Lovecraftian Gothics, and that's something that I really love. I love that creepy, like some kind of creature. And again, do you actually have a Gothic novel palette without Poe? Like, how can you not? And so like these were there. There was another one of the other contenders that I could have put in here, and I just could not figure out where I'd want it over the ones I had. Maybe Earl Grey, but I just really wanted that nod to Britain. Was Wearingeul's portrait of Dorian Gray, or picture of Dorian Gray. I think it's portrait picture. It's semantics, but I thought about having that because I do have Wearingeul's picture of Dorian Gray, but I went with Earl Grey instead. But that one would have been perfectly acceptable in one of these, but I didn't want two grays because I just don't use gray all that often, and I have the black cat, so I thought that was great enough. And unfortunately, I had already had this all planned before lovely Grace from Wildly Imaginable gave me Wearingeul Wuthering Heights. And how can you not have Wearingeul Wuthering Heights in your lineup? And so I am probably going to ink this up in a pen, but I even shared on my story yesterday that Endless needs to restock, and they asked, should we restock? So I'm really, really hopeful. Please go and vote yes on the poll on Instagram on Endless Pens if you really want this restocked for me, because like I have to have a whole bottle. Like, she was so kind and sent me like 4 milliliters. That I'm gonna go through that so fast because I just am. This is my gray. Somebody mentioned that in my video for this yesterday, somebody mentioned Sydney Darling Harbor by Robert Oster. It is similar. I do have Sydney Darling Harbor. Where do I have it? As I'm going through, I have messes of ink. I think I have it somewhere in here. Did I have it inked up last month? No, I do have it inked up, and it's not the same. It is not the same. And it's similar, but Sydney Darling Harbor is definitely more saturated than this, and it doesn't have the shimmer. So I just, please, Endless, please, 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 somebody send this video to them and just tell them, please, please, please. Okay, please, please. Because, yeah, I think I would put this, and I honestly think I would put that one over the Kobe, but I do love that Kobe, like dark, moody green. So I am going to use that up, but I think once that's used up, I'm going to put that Wuthering Heights in there because it is, yeah, it's perfect right there. It's perfect. So that's my currently inked. I have this many pens. I'm really proud of myself to have picked a palette and really thought about this because I am really trying to be conscientious. So this is 12 plus 1. And I do have, I actually have this here for my 13th to put away. And I'm cleaning out like all my other pens. So I'm very proud of myself for this palette. Thank you so much. I think this video got long, but it was all my thoughts and my process on what I'm doing for the month, and I'm excited to see what kind of spreads I fill in my journal. I was looking at an idea yesterday for my planner, which is very Gothic-y, and I came up with something like this. And so I do have some of these doodles, not like these like frame doodles, coming in another video where I'm going to be using these colors to color them in. So that's coming too. And I'm gonna try to make my own printable stickers with that, for that, because I don't want to ruin the original. So I want to try to see if I can make my own stickers, because I've done it in the past. I just want to try it now again, but with fountain pen ink rather than watercolor. So I'm playing with a lot of different things right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me an emoji of a tree or a black cat or something spooky, and let me know what you think of my palette. Do you think that there could have been something different than what I tried or what I did? Are there other Gothic novel like inks that you think I'm missing? I think Wearingeul has Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but I'm not as big of a fan of the colors if I remember correctly. And so there are a couple that I know that I don't have, but like I felt like I needed to have more than just Wearingeul. So I tried to give it a little bit more than Wearingeul. I mean, obviously Wearingeul is the majority of the inks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 13, but I also really went with my gut on these palettes. So I really hope you enjoyed it. Share with me what you're inking this month. Just share whatever. I really enjoy talking to you all in the comments. I know sometimes I don't get to it as fast as I would like to, but I do try to get there. So have a great day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.